Heavenly Father, thank you again for allowing us to assemble today to discuss the business of our community. Heavenly Father, we ask that you continue to bless us to be our guide. Heavenly Father, we ask that we take heed to all that is being shared with us today, Heavenly Father. We ask that any discussion that must be held and be had in kindness and loving. Heavenly Father, although we might not agree with everyone, Heavenly Father, we ask that you to lend our ears to listening and our mouths to speaking in harmony. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all that you've done and all that you are about to do as your will be done. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Donald. And before we get started, we want to send our heartfelt condolences to Councilman Rao for the death of her father. We wish her uh, God's loving arms around her and her family as she goes through this process. Um, I read the information about him, and he seemed like such a wonderful gentleman and father. So we wish her well as she um, send him on to heaven. With that, again, I want to welcome everybody here today. Um, as always, we will start with the police reports and fire, police and fire. So whoever wants to start, Mr. Jones, would you like to start?
Yes, good evening, Sandtown community. How are y'all doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I bring greetings on behalf of all the men and women of the South Fulton Fire Rescue Department. We have been very busy in the past month and give y'all an update of what's been going on. So if you missed it, we had a push-in ceremony at Station 11, which is on Fulton Industrial Boulevard, of a new $1.1 million ladder truck. Thank you for y'all's support. It'll be coming to your community in case of needs. As far as other apparatus, we have set for delivery next week a new engine that'll be going to Station 8, which is down in Cedar Grove. And then we have we have two more engines coming, one for Station 5, which is on Bethsaida, and one for Station 11, which is on FIB, which will also service the Sandtown. And that brings our fleet pretty much up to where we need to be with new equipment, and replaced all of the old 02 and 98s and equipment that was not reliable. So that is a huge step, and a thank you to the community and to the council and mayor for their support on getting us this new equipment, and it should all be in service in August. As far as our staffing, we are still maintaining staffing pretty well, and we have 15 new recruits that'll be starting on the 18th. That'll bring our vacancies down to about 10, which is really, really good during this time, and goes a long way for our recruiting efforts. And then as far as call volume, it is staying steady. We are still seeing some fires. We are getting out into the community. So if y'all need us to come and talk to anybody specifically in HOAs or other communities, let us know. But we're seeing more and more kitchen fires. I guess young people deciding to venture and cook. And then the other is leaving food cooking while they leave. And that's been over the past month. We've had several fires in that regard. Luckily, we've had no loss of life, which is always a positive. Some of the safety messages we're still pushing out. Our COVID numbers are declining, but with this new variant, we are seeing some small spikes in area. We still encourage people and still having vaccination events. We encourage people to get vaccinated. We are giving out gift cards, $100 gift cards for those that get vaccinated at one of our sites. And the other thing is obviously the heat. Please check on your neighbors, check on families. During this time of the year, air conditioners are not meant to handle this type of weather. We're seeing a lot of breakdowns. Even in one of our facilities, we've had to have repairs, especially when the temperatures get up. The thermometer may say 96 or 98, but the actual relative heat and humidity makes it about 110 to 112. Very dangerous for people to be out in. We tell them basically from 11 to 4, just stay inside if you can help it. Limit your activities outside, drink plenty of water, and check on your neighbors and family, and remember your pets. We have not had any incidents in South Fulton with people leaving animals or children or elderly in vehicles. But remember, a vehicle that is not running will get to 200 to 300 degrees very quickly. And so the statement from the national is, check twice before you get out to make sure you're not leaving anybody or anything in the vehicles. If you do see something, please call 911. If you do see a child or an animal that is locked in, there's actually a law against that, and we will respond out along with PD. Other than that, we are going to have a lot of community events coming up in the fall and growing our community risk reduction section. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be here for a couple more minutes.
Does anybody have any questions? I don't see anything in the chat. Well, thank you very much for that information. We appreciate you attending today. And is there someone from the police department?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, Blaylock, I see you. How are you?
How you doing? How you doing?
All righty.
Let's call. I'm gonna be brief, real quick. So, pretty much what's going on in our Sandtown community, everything is going well. For crime actually has gone down. We're still beefing up patrols in the area to try to, to make the area safe for all citizens. Let me come over here now. What's going on? Well, only significant event that we had a few accidents and several break-ins in the Cascade area around the shopping center. But other than that, around the Sandtown community, we haven't had really no issues. I know the burglary we still working in the burglary investigation at the AT&T store in the Sandtown Plaza that happened a few months back. I think we're getting close to solving that case. What else? Oh, and pretty much throughout the summer months, I just want to encourage you guys to be safe. Again, do not leave valuables in your car. If you see something in your neighborhood, please call us. I know our community service units are doing a good job. I responded to certain complaints that people may have. Our major issues we're still trying to get on top of is with the ATVs, but since we've been cracking down on it, we've been seeing less and less ATVs on the streets, which is good. Pretty much that's pretty much about it. What's going on our side? We just continue to do what we do to help serve y'all to make the community better in South Fulton.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Do we have any questions for Officer Blaylock? Let's see if we have it. I don't see anything. Oh, I see something in the chat. Hold on. Oh, someone asked a question for the fire. Is the fire still giving out fire alarms?
I believe that's something fire will have to answer. I believe so. They should. I believe they do offer services to where you can sign up for a free fire alarm or a smoke detector check inside your home. But I believe that's something you will have to double check with fire.
This is Chief Jones. I'm here. And that is, he's absolutely correct. They can go by any fire station. They can go on the city website. We are updating some of our social media platforms to do that. They can send me an email just asking what that they need a smoke detector, and we will send the closest fire station out and install it for them. Also, we still have our car seat program, which is a state-funded program for anybody that has a little one that needs it. There is forms to fill out, but anybody can call and we can give them more information on how they can get a car seat, or they can make an appointment, stop by. We have car seat techs around. I know PD does too. You have to have the child in the car seat, but we can make sure they're properly buckled and it's the right car seat. We can also check to make sure that car seat does not have any recalls. So that is two programs that we are still pushing out. But yes, the smoke alarm program, you can, I think my email is here. You can email me and I'll make sure that our fire marshal's office get it, and we'll get a fire truck out to you and get one installed.
Wonderful. Great. Any other questions?
Also, too, I want to go ahead and promote our National Night Out that's coming up August 2nd. So everyone, please come out to our National Night Out and fellowship with the police department, fire, and everybody. It's a one big event where the community can come together and fellowship and get to know your officers that's in your community. August 2nd. It's going to be at the LA Fitness on Old National Highway. Give me 2 seconds. I know it's 65 something. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna pull up the address for you guys.
What's the time?
It's gonna be from 6 to 8. And that address is 6385 Old National Highway. We're gonna be right there in the parking lot. We're gonna have food, games, live entertainment. It's gonna be the works, live band, everything. So we encourage everybody to come on out and kind of fellowship with the local law enforcement and other agencies going to be in attendance as well, along with fire, and support us in our National Night Out.
All righty. Any other questions for police and fire? Well, thank you both, Chief
Thank you.
Jones and Officer Blaylock, for attending. Normally we would have an update from the schools, but she is not on the call tonight because she's celebrating her anniversary. So with that, we will go ahead. Marilyn, you want to do membership? You on mute, Marilyn?
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to thank you all for becoming members of the Sandtown Community Association. And our association fees are $25 for an individual person, $40 for a family, and $50 if you are an organization who's a part of the Sandtown Community Association. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your coming out. And that's all I have to say. And right now we've got about 20 paying members that we have gotten since January of 2022.
Wonderful. How exciting.
So that's good. That's good.
That is very good. Thank you, Marilyn. We should have Lennar Holmes on the call. They are here today to present an update on the development that they're working on in the Sandtown community. Is there a representative here from Lennar Holmes?
This is Tyler McSwain speaking. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, I'm actually part of Battle Law. I was working along with Lennar Holmes on this particular project. Just wanted to provide everyone some updates from our last meeting that we had, our community meeting, which was on June 29th of last week. In summary, what we want to kind of talk about as a summary is that we talked about the last meeting that we had in this forum when we talked to the Sandtown community. We also talked about the elevations of the homes that's being proposed with this development. We answered some questions regarding the price points for these homes and also information on the product that Lennar Homes has. So in brief, we're happy to share with everyone a recap of that meeting. Is available on the Battle Law website. And again, all of our community meetings that we do in South Fulton and also in Atlanta region, we do keep a copy of those meetings to kind of explain a little bit about the projects that we're working on. So if anyone is curious, I'm still here to answer any questions about the project. We're currently in the review process with the city of South Fulton. So the city is going to review over the request, but we are going to be moving forward with the layout that was presented to the community, which hasn't really changed in terms of the layout. But for those who don't know much about the project, these are 61 residential lots, single family detached, That's going to be on Riverside, which is adjacent, adjacent north of the Villages of Sandtown Shopping Center, where the new Publix is. So this is going to be new residential homes, fee simple homes that we think is going to be great for the community, but we are starting that process with the city so we can have a little bit more exposure for the project as well. And that's why we're here, to remind everybody of the status of that as well.
I know I sent an email asking when we had a conversation, when you all presented to us before, it was 61 homes, like he said, single family, up to 5 bedrooms. And you are marketing to young families. And it would be young families with children. And one of the things that I've had a lot of questions about is some type of amenity package in the community. Now, what we had talked about is number one, not wanting to burden new homeowners with the burden of having homeowners association and all of that. But what we were thinking about, I think at one time you had said a dog park, and what some of the residents are asking is if there could be some type of gathering spot of some sort for the family, so that the children who will live there will have some type of playground, play area, soccer field or something. So I had sent that email and wondered if you all have had any discussion about that request.
Yes, that was more of an internal discussion that we have with the client. Usually what we do is we take all of the corresponding comments that we've received from the community. I do know that's important to make sure that we have enough amenity areas and not just brush down a whole bunch of density on everyone, just to make sure there's still some enjoyable and some walkability to it as well. We did share that information with the client. They're still working on that to see if they can manage some more guest parking with that as well. So when people go to the kiosk area, there's some more parking spaces, and there's also something that's connected to the walkway trail with the sidewalks, that will be an area where they can possibly fit somewhat of like a dog park, or somewhere where they can possibly place a gazebo or a bench area or grilling area. I know we kind of want to think out the box, but the kind of space is a little bit limited. So they're working on their plans to see what design and what ideas they can put into a plan, so we can share that with the city as well.
Wonderful. That would be great. I'm glad that you all heard that from the residents. And I know that, so you're in the process of going through the review with the city. Councilman Rao, do you want to add anything to our discussion?
I think he covered it. I did listen in the community meeting. I think there were about 11 participants, and I wouldn't say that we heard anything that we haven't discussed in this group setting with Sandtown Community Association. And as he's mentioned, hopefully they're continuing to work through the amenities opportunity in the community. So I concur with what he said.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are there any questions about this development? Does anyone have any questions? Oh, there is a thing in the chat. Just okay. So can you give us, Mr. McSwain, can you give us kind of a timeline of the progress of the development? You're reviewing it with the city, and then what happens next?
Yes, of course. So right now the city, their council is in rest. So there won't be any meetings, I don't think, until August. So in that time being, we're taking this month to meet with the city so we can get some technical review comments back, so they can also look at potential road improvement studies or anything else that the city may need. And once we get those comments back, we will address those so we can take them to council for consideration and community council for recommendation votes, so we can take it to the city as well for deliberation for those voting. So right now, like I said, once we get those comments back, hopefully soon from the city within this month, if we go to council, city council, let's say, I would say probably sometime in August. I think they're posting signs for the properties today. So you may see some signs that the city has posted. And so there may be some updated dates on those as well. I wasn't copied on the actual official dates on those, but they are posting those by this week. And with that, we will take those dates. And if this, this project, if they do have a favorable consideration for this, we're looking at approximately, say, a year before the land disturbance permit is pulled, that you'll start seeing them doing some construction or cutting down some trees. So whenever time you see trees being cut down, that means that land development process has started or has been approved. So that's kind of give you somewhat of a timeline, but we all know that some things come up and we need to address those things. So we'll try to keep people as updated as possible.
Okay. Are there any other questions about the development from anybody? Like I said, Ms. Warren is not with us. Councilman Gums is not with us. She had a conflict. So Councilman Ryle, if you want to add, I think we're getting too close to the end of the meeting. So is there anything you want to talk about? Uh-oh.
The only update I want to provide that hasn't been covered is we have the public art installed in the roundabout at Hamilton Road. If you haven't seen it, I was actually trying to pull up a video so those who haven't seen it could get a glimpse at it. As you know, we work with the Sandtown Community Association, I think starting in 2018 or 2019, to get input on what should be displayed on these panels. And so I think they look good, and I'm looking forward to working with the community to do some landscaping enhancements in the future to bringing that to the roundabout. And so you'll hear more about that. And last but not least, we have a couple capital improvement projects going on at Trammell Crow Park. Within the next 30 days, you'll see the picnic canopies, some repairs going on to the wood, and those structures will be completely painted. And so just stay tuned, and that's about it for now.
Okay.
And thank you for your remarks, Ms. Davis, and all those who have reached out and extended the condolence on the passing of my father. I truly appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I'm excited about the art on the roundabout. It was an engagement with the community, and the reflection, if you look at the art, it's more about what we see here in our community. We have a lot of natural beauty here with the deer, although they eat up all my flowers, but the deer and the water and all of that, and that's what those panels depict. And so we were excited to see them there. I have someone put something in the chat. Back to school events from Commissioner Arrington's office. If you all could look in the chat, you can see it. Does this person want to make some comments about the back to school event? You're welcome to.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jarrell Sharon, Commissioner Arrington's Community Engagement Rep. I did put the back to school events that he's having. He's also doing a town hall meeting on June 11th from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock virtual. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat also. It's going to be talking about tax assessment, and also it's going to be talking about general election. And one more thing, on August 6th at Welcome Park, in partnership with Commissioner Helen Willis, she actually doing a health fair and also another back to school event, fitness challenge, and a basketball game free to the public. So I'll go ahead and put that information in the chat also. And I also put my information also in the chat if anybody had any questions or concerns.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for joining the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Sure. And Councilman Rao is putting the video up of the artwork. And if you all notice, the panels that face each direction on Hamilton Road, the word Sandtown Community is carved in there. So I've had some dialogue with some folk on Nextdoor concerning the artwork. People think that it should be different materials and all of that, and I try to educate them on the limitations based on the fact that this is a state highway, and the materials that have to be used in the roundabout are those that, if for some reason some car jumps the curb and hit any of that, there is not any much damage done. If you have a brick structure or a stone structure or that kind of thing, if it is struck, it could cause damage or kill someone, as they put it. And so you have to be very careful with what you put in there. So the artwork, the panels and what they stand on, the legs are just like the stop signs or what have you. And if you hit that, it will just bend. And so we have to make sure that safety is front and center, and we have to adhere to the guidelines that the state set out. So with the landscaping and all of the enhancements that the city will do, I think it will be a wonderful display. And the one thing that I do like about the roundabout, y'all, and that is I don't see, and I haven't seen, little teddy bears with balloons of families putting in different spots at that area from the accidents that have happened when we didn't have the roundabout. And so we always have to keep in mind what the reason for the roundabout is. And it is safety. It is to deter the trucks from driving down Hamilton Road at a high rate of speed, or to keep them off of Hamilton Road altogether, because we have lost lives in this curve over the years. And so having this roundabout seemed to have helped to mitigate that. Let's see, got somebody else? Okay. Jarrell put the information in the chat if you all want to see it. With that, y'all, we're kind of having a short meeting today. If you notice on the agenda, we have canceled the golf tournament. And with that, Stephanie, I'll ask you to give an update, or if you want to make some comments, but we have canceled the golf tournament for this year. There is a change of the guard over at Wolf Creek. The gentleman that I was dealing with is no longer there. And with coming out of COVID, we just decided that we may wait until next year. Try to get started with it next year. And also the city is having an event on that same day, and I'm sure our council representatives will be at that city event. So we just decided that this year may not be a good year to have it. However, we are looking to have some type of event or community, I don't know what to call it, but support a nonprofit at Christmas time on their efforts. So we're trying to get that together. And once we do, we will talk about it at one of our meetings so we can get prepared for the Christmas holidays. Stephanie, do you have any updates, or do you want to share anything about the housing market in our community? Uh-oh. Are you there, Stephanie? I saw you. Okay. I see her there. Stephanie, can you hear me? Okay,
Hi, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Do you have any updates or anything you want to share about the housing market in our area?
Okay, well, the housing market is shifting because interest rates have gone up. So it's changing how many buyers are out there. Since the interest rates are gone up a little bit more, so things are just shifting. There's still certain situations with multiple offers. The new construction is continuing to rise, and it's just making it a little bit tougher for buyers. So a welcomed community with reasonable pricing would be great for those that have jobs like police officers and teachers, because everyone can't afford $550,000 for a house these days.
Is that the average cost of a house now?
Average is 400 for resale, but new construction is high 400s and up to 600. So, and they're continuing to go up. So we had one in our subdivision that just sold for $615 resale with a finished basement. The new construction with the basement is going for $602. So
there's still a lot of interest, however, in our community, you think?
oh yes, yes, our community is very sought after. So we need those builders to get going.
That would be fantastic. All righty. Well, does anyone else have any comments? Anybody want to have anything to say before we close it out?
Hey,
Hi, my
I'm
name is
sorry,
Lynn
they
Reed.
asked me something. I wasn't planning on talking.
Uh-oh, who's talking?
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Lynn Reed. I did have a question.
Sure.
Although I'm not against the development, what is the plans to work with GDOT on the expansion of our roads? Because it's already congested. So I'm in fear that I won't be able to ever leave my home and go to the grocery store without being stuck in a traffic jam for hours.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about it this way. Sometimes when you do have development and you do have a lot of things that are happening in your community, and for an example, the development that's up is slated for the corner of Camp Creek and Hamilton. That is when you have these development coming, which will impact the traffic flow. The ARC gets involved, DOT gets involved, and you begin to have that dialogue. And as we expand, they will change. And so while it's kind of painful initially, when all of this stuff is starting, you see all these people moving in the community and the roads are staying the same. Please know that each development brings the ARC to the table, brings DOT to the table, and they begin to work through those issues. To give you an example, there's a development that's coming on the corner of Hamilton and Stonewall Tail. The developer has, and that whole intersection is going to be revamped. The developer came to the table and made a contribution to that improvement. You got the ARC involved. So once all of that start, that intersection will change. If you go further down Stonewall Tail on the other end at Enon Road, there's a development that started over there, and the developer used some of his funds, donated, and did some work on the roads there. So it's hard, it's inconvenient at first, but just know that because of development, the ARC and DOT gets involved. And I don't know if Councilman Rao wants to add anything to that or correct me in any way, but that's usually how it works.
All I can say is you're very seasoned at that because you hit it on the nose. The growth is what will get them to the table quicker to address our transportation needs. Right now, well, it was in 2020, we adopted the comprehensive transportation plan that looks at our need to widen roads and all kind of transportation issues across the entire city. I included a link in the chat if you want to read it. It's a very comprehensive document. It not only addresses the city of South Fulton, it really addresses all cities in South County in terms of what we need to invest in terms of our infrastructure. And those projects, some of them will be taken on by the state, some will be taken on by the city. And we're very much looking at the various funding streams that are now available or coming down from the federal government in terms of the infrastructure funding that's available. And we will look at that as a source to try to move some of these projects in the comprehensive transportation along. Ms. Davis is correct about the project at Camilton Road and Stonewall Tail. And the last update I got was that they'll be closing on the last parcels that they need to begin to move forward by the end of this month, end of July. So they're very close.
So I have it's great that this is happening. But the comment, I think what my thoughts are is that nothing has happened to these roads, but there has been a significant amount of development over the last even 15 years, but nothing with the road. So I hear what you guys are saying, even though I think we're being more reactive than proactive, and I could be wrong, but I hear in other counties in Georgia, they assess the road situation first, and they know what's coming, and they build the roads out, and then they do the development. So it seems like we're kind of doing it a little backwards, but again, I don't know all the ins and outs, but just some of the various meetings I've been in and some of the things I've heard, I think the road expansion has moving pretty slow, and we're being more reactive than proactive.
I will share some of these projects, the length of time to get a project to completion. I think the roundabout, are we at least 15 or 10 years into that Boat Rock roundabout?
Oh,
Actually, this is Harvey.
Actually, go ahead, Harvey. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The roundabout was part of Sandtown Community Association's Blueprint Sandtown from 22 years ago. And to the point about road improvements, the manifestation of that roundabout is a $10 million investment that the state of Georgia made to life safety issues. I don't know if I can share it, but I have a picture from our website from 2003 on the first day of school, where a tractor trailer had a huge collision with a vehicle. But at the end of the day, the ARC and Sandtown and GDOT and all number of entities developed commercial mixed-use development nodes at Campbellton and Camp Creek, as well as Boat Rock and Campbellton. So a lot of this has been in the planning for decades, and the project at Camp Creek and Campbellton is a project of a development of regional impact, which means the GDOT and the ARC were involved comprehensively about the transportation impact long before they even submitted their application. There are a lot of things that are in the works, but at the end of the day, it's the development that is the catalyst to make it happen. And I'm not sure what county you're referring to, but I know very well from the timeline of being involved in development and transportation improvements out here since '93 that we are pretty responsive in terms of planning. But at the end of the day, it is difficult to get funding from the state and the county prior to our incorporation. One last thing I'll say is to show how cognizant we are about the impact. The very reason that the Sandtown Community Association was formed was in opposition to GDOT's plan to widen Campbellton Road, having 2 lanes going in both directions, which would have had a horrendous impact on the quality of life of folks. And you would have seen trucks coming down Campbellton like a parkway and people literally not being able to get out of their driveway because of the increased volume. Had that road been widened, most of those trucks would have been using it. And even without the development, it would be a severe hardship impact on the residents.
One other thing I want people to be very cognizant is, in our area in particular, we are crisscrossed with state roads. Campbellton Road, Camp Creek Parkway, Foot and Industrial, Cascade Palm, those are all state roads. They are not under the jurisdiction of the city. So it is really important that we coordinate with them, because it is ultimately their responsibility to make investments on those roads. As we look at transportation projects and we seek out funding, whether it's at the state or the federal level, you have to have projects in an approved transportation, an approved and adopted plan. That's why all the cities back in 2020 looked at their entire city footprint, and in that document, it anticipates the growth. We know where the growth is coming, and we were preparing so that as money and funds became available, these projects would be closer to being teed up and ready to let to construction. Just to give you an idea, you're talking about a city with roughly, just say, $130 million budget. That roundabout right there was 10 million by itself. So when we talk about these projects and people ask for, various things, whether it be sidewalks, road repaving, we have to take all that into consideration and prioritize where we invest in road improvements. And so one of the key things, like I said, looking at this federal infrastructure money that's coming down the pipe, and right now there are a lot of funding opportunities. I just came from a conference in Savannah, and that was the biggest thing they were imploring to cities, that get these projects as close to ready to construction as possible. So again, I hear your concerns and frustration, but please know this is something that we are working on diligently. And if you get a chance, do take out that, read through that plan, because it gives you a lot of insight on where we're going. Not just, like I said, the city of South Fulton, but all cities south, because we share many of the same roads.
And I see in the chat you mentioned about Forsyth County. I just, it's something that you heard, and I don't know. I can't make a comment with that, but I do know what all the work that we have done. I got up with the association in 1998, and the schools and all of that. The reason why you got Sandtown Middle School, you putting value on Campbellton Road to push back DOT, because they still, could expand that road. They have every right to expand that road. But what we have done over the years is try to put value on the road, because DOT across the country has a history of destroying the Black community by road expansions, with no concern about the housing, the schools, or anything that's on the roads. And they have done that across the United States. And what we have done and got Blueprint Sandtown to stop that effort. And because you have to remember now, like she said, we are around all of these state highways, but we are also bordering the largest industrial park in the Southeast. And I always ask people all the time who was here first. And they were here in the area first. And all of these neighborhoods kind of came out of all of the businesses that was on Fulton Industrial at one time. There are families in this community who parents own businesses who have retired and live here and so forth and so on. And so we are trying to live in among this. And so we're working hard to keep the trucks because they're gonna be there. We gotta keep them on the main highways, which is Camp Creek and Fulton Industrial, and keep them out of the roads that come through our community, like Boat Rock and this part of Hamilton Road. So I know the traffic can be frustrating. I hear residents who once told me that living on Hamilton Road, they have to start putting their flashers on, their turn signals on back at Eden Road to get into their driveways because people drive so fast. And if you drive down Hamilton Road, a lot of times you see people repairing their mailboxes because at one time people would fly around there, but you don't see that much now that we have the roundabout. And so like Councilman Rao said, we got to be patient. It's exciting to have development. It is exciting to have people wanting to move in our area. It's exciting to have high performing schools because once you have all of these things clicking together, then your community and individual wealth in the community grows in terms of your housing value and your ability to resell or move into a different product. If we can get a diverse product in this community, if you retire, you don't have to move out. If you've lived here for 40 years, you don't have to move to Mableton or Cobb County or Douglas County. We can give you that product that you need here. So all of these things are exciting. And I don't want you to feel like we are belittling your concern about the traffic. But what we want you to know is that we understand it. And when we are working hard on each development to make sure all of that is covered in what we do as well.
Right, and I appreciate that. And like I said, it's the concern of a lot of citizens. But you did bring up another point about the schools and the rate. Well, first of all, I don't have any school age kids, but I'm reading on Nextdoor, the overcrowding, and so many people are moving now to South Fulton. And it was actually, I can't think of the lady that's over the school. Is it Fanny? Somebody. She was,
Her
Francesca
name is Francesca Warren.
Right. It was on one of these meetings. She talked about it. So not only is the development bringing more, children into the school system, you have people just moving here because of, I guess, the prices, or they just want to be in this area. And that might all be in the comprehensive plan. So I have to admit, I have not read it inside and out, but that's another huge concern as well.
Well, I wish you were on the call last month because she gave a wonderful presentation. Her name is Francesca Warren, and she's the one that I said is not on the call today because it's our anniversary. So I can understand that. I had mine last couple of weeks at 41 years in, so I can understand her celebration.
Yeah,
but
so I was on that call last month because I remember her talking about.
Right, and you remember what she said, which is part of Blueprint Sandtown and what we have been trying to do. There is no reason why we can't have community schools. Mm-hmm. We can have good schools in Sandtown. We can have good schools in other parts of the city. And so what she is embarking on, because we know people are they do it in North Fulton and they're going to do it here. Wherever the schools that are high performing, people will go and rent apartments and they will use those addresses at those apartments and they go to the school. It is nothing new. It happens in South County and it happens in North County. Mm-hmm. But what they are trying to do and what she said is starting this summer, and they have already started, they are going through a redistricting process where they will, she's trying to get people to understand is, if you live near Langston Hughes, that's where you should go to school. You shouldn't have to come to Westlake or wherever in the city. You shouldn't have to go to school outside of your community because your community should be a good performing school as well. And so there is a redistricting process that is going on. And like her comment at the meeting, she said it's going to be hard. People don't like it. Sandtown and Westlake and this community we worked really hard to get the schools where they are. And it's just wonderful when I hear all the wonderful things that are going on. My kids graduated, just about all of our children graduated from Sandtown and also Westlake. And so that process is going on, and hopefully when she comes back in August or September, she can kind of share with us what the results of the redistricting is. And that because they have actively this past year, I think she reported something like 200 or 300 kids or so, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, where they have found out that these kids should not be in the school. So they have gone through this process throughout the entire year to get kids out of the schools and send them to the schools in their neighborhood. And it's going to be an ongoing battle, but I think they do have a plan and they're working to do that. So I can't wait to hear her report when she comes back next month. But I thank you for your comments. Is it Lynn Reed?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Thank you for your
guys.
comments and join us every month, because we do like to hear about what is going on in the community and what people are saying. But we try to be aware and try to mitigate some of those issues that we have.
And if I may make one comment, Lynn, I'll be candid about Nextdoor, because I used to participate a lot and I liked to share my experience raising 2 children in Fulton County schools. And unfortunately, it's not a pleasant platform. So I would be watchful about what things you accept as factual from people that post on Nextdoor. I won't name any names, but I encourage you to reach out to your school board member and your principals and other officials, and not just assume what people post on Nextdoor is factual.
Yeah, I agree, Harvey. And a lot of this is not just Nextdoor. I've been to many, many meetings. My sister, Phyllis Reed, and myself, we try to, log on to a lot of these meetings. We've gone to so many different meetings, I can't even tell you. And I hear the same thing over and over. So my comments and concerns are not necessarily just coming from Nextdoor.
Right. My only comment is authoritative facts. In a number of cases, I've shared information with people on Nextdoor. For instance, the number of police we had on staff, and the person challenged me about where did I get those numbers from? And I said, I got them from the police chief an hour ago. So I just encourage you to vet what you read, and in most cases, what goes on with the city, the school system, and there are authoritative sources where you can validate that information.
I agree, and we do. So we from Illinois, Chicago, and we hear all kind of information, and we vet out whatever we hear. We don't just necessarily spread misinformation.
That's great, and I invite you to contact me personally if you.
I think you have spoken to my sister, Phyllis Reed. So we have contacted you too.
Well, feel free to join us. We try to, we have a meeting the first Thursday of every month. We're doing it virtual because of COVID, and we found that we get a lot of participation, and we try to have the police and fire and all of the people that, and the school board. Ms. Warren is she comes all the time and to share what is going on with the school. So feel free to join us, and we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Right.
I also want to share just an observation, and I've lived in a lot of places. It is really unique that we have this meeting on a monthly basis where you really have the fire chief, the police chief, the school board member, the city council person, and special guests on a regular basis working through issues. That is not common. I can't even say it's common across this city. I know Cliftondale does some of the same things because I know Ms. Warren attends those meetings. And even though it's not my area, I attend them fairly regularly too. And so one of the things I've consistently done as developers have indicated an interest in this community, I tell them to come to this meeting first. That is my opportunity to kind of get a pulse on what your thoughts are on these projects. This is usually even before they even filed a first application with the city of South Fulton. And as a result of that, we have in many instances been able to address the concerns that we've had here before they even introduced the project. And I think that has, for the most part, and of course, you're not going to please everybody, I think it has provided a valuable platform for people to be heard, for us to work through issues. And I mean, over 5 years, maybe we've had 2 very controversial. I'm just saying, that's after many approval projects, but most of them we've been able to work through or try to address by adding conditions to the projects. So I just want us to continue to do that. I think it's been effective. I want more people to participate, but the reality is, I talk to many cities. If you get 30 people in any city, and I'm including the city of Atlanta, that is a huge turnout. Unfortunately, people don't engage the way that they should. And I think the comments about social media, vetting them and teasing the information out for yourself is just really critical.
And someone just put in the chat, Miss Young, I think it's a Miss Young, say, good evening, are there plans for seniors in our community? Ooh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that question, because there's one development, it's a senior community at market rate community that has been approved, that is going to be on Reynolds, closer to Sandtown Center. And then on Wallace Road, I think it got approved. There is a community, and she called it 55 and Wise. And so it's a community that is geared for seniors there. It will be single family and townhomes. Duplexes. Yeah. And so what we have experienced in Sandtown since I've been here, I moved out here in '98, and we do have a large retirement community. And it is true, when they decide that they want a different product, they leave and they go to Douglasville or they go to Cobb County. That's where they get the products that they need. And so and the traffic, yeah. But what we're trying to do is say, okay, if you've lived here for 30 and 40 years, they don't want to leave because this is their home. And so now we're having a diversified product that they can look at. Now we do have senior living off of Riverside Drive over there, but it is not at market. It is a government subsidized development. But guess what? They stay full. I think they are working on a different phase now, and so the other one that is off of Reynolds is at market. So I'm looking forward to it. Marilyn Lee was very engaged with the developer and I'm telling you, I wish you had joined the call. Some of the calls to look at the things that, because she has dealt with her dealing with her mother and senior care and all of that, there are just things that I never would have thought about that she did on some of the amenities and things that they're going to put in that product. So we're really excited about it. And I'm looking forward to when they break ground on that. And I'm looking forward to when the 55 and Wise break ground. So yes, it is coming.
The 55 and Wise, thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
I did hear about the
I'm sorry to interrupt. Hello. Hey,
okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Debbie.
Huh?
I'm being pulled into a work call, so I'm going to make Harvey the host of the meeting.
Okay.
You'll have control. Y'all don't have to stop. Y'all can continue on. You're having some good discussions, and I apologize for interrupting the conversation. I'm just being pulled into a work call.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Young, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yes, I did hear about the market rate, and of course, that would be good for a lot of us because we cannot get into the other communities because of the income.
Mhm.
It's income based, so
Right.
it's very difficult. And also with the other one, the 55 and Ys, are those condos? Are those apartments? What
It's,
are they? Are they
they will be,
cottages?
it's two different things. They're offering duplexes. They're
For
beautiful.
sale. They're for
And
sale.
they're for sale, and then they have single family homes as well, a few of those, but it's duplexes as well.
Oh, okay, very nice. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Oh,
For
you're
those
welcome.
people who are from the Midwest, who are duplexes are very common, not so common here in the South. I might be the first that I know of in the city. We are trying to very much diversify the housing options because we've primarily been single family detached homes and not a variety of offerings. Also, the second phase of Anthem at Riverside will be open in August of this year. If you go down there, they're almost finished. And the community really looks nice now that you kind of see both buildings up. It's if you get a chance, just go down Riverside and make a left. And we should also see the groundbreaking on the market rate, I would say in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of activity that'll be coming over the next, like I said, couple of years
Yeah, and these
with
should
these
be
those
ready by,
developments.
Ms. Rowell, these should be ready by like 2023, 24, maybe?
Yep,
Okay, very nice.
yep.
It's exciting. It,
It
it,
is,
it truly is exciting to have, it's been a lot of hard work and dedication, but to have a diversity of product in the community because we have residents with diverse needs. We have young people who want to live in the area and raise their children here and send their kids to the schools, and they need to have a certain level of house. And then you have on the other spectrum, you have the seniors who are ready to sell their homes and downsize and go to a
yes.
different product. And we
Mhm.
want, and if we continue to build a community and make it such a desire for people to come, then when you sell your house, we want you to have wealth. We don't want you
Yes,
to, we want you to have wealth in your home. The house, I always go back to the house that is in Atlanta actually, but it's down there off of Danforth. It's right by Regency Park. It has the stone, whatever. They sold it. Now I understand. I think that's the house. They've torn the house down, and I think it's gonna be a park. It's 13 acres that sit there.
ooh,
It's 13 acres, and the house was built in 1957. And the father just passed away, and the daughter lives in like Alpharetta. And she put that house on the market after he passed away, and it sold for over 600, I think. And if you think about it, the house was paid for. She has a young family, and she walked away with $600,000 in her pocket. And we want to have you do that. If when you get ready to go to your next type of living, sell your house, we want you to get the maximum that you can get out of it to pass on to your wealth to your family. And so in order to do that, we got to keep revitalizing and making this community the best that we can make it. And in doing so, we have to do it right as well. Because we've run off a lot of developers that want to put junk out here for sure. And so we got to do this thing right.
so with the number of senior citizens rising, the number of, I should say, seasoned citizens rising, they're gonna there should be a larger, maybe senior center coming or
That's all,
possibly.
Fulton
that-
County.
yeah, human services and fall under Fulton County. As you know, we had the one facility on Danforth Road.
Danforth, yes. Mhm.
They are planning for another facility that's going to be by the South Annex in that general area. And so, Debbie, based on these questions, I think it would be good if we asked Chairman Pitts and Marvin Arrington to talk about some of these projects that the county has underway that don't fall under the purview of the city, to just provide updates. I think it would be, good for them to share that information.
All righty, I'll invite them to our August meeting.
Oh,
And at
well,
that
thank
same
you.
one, let's also ask them to share, there's a whole effort that, we can tag team on about plans to redevelop food and industrial, and they're very, very exciting. If you've probably noticed, if you go down food and industrial right now, headed towards the interstate, you'll see a number of those facilities are now vacant and gated off. You're gonna see demolition coming real soon and redevelopment. And so this is a joint effort that's been underway, led by the county, because they acquired a number of those parcels in partnership with the city of South Fulton to clean food and industrial up for good. So
Okay.
I'm very excited about that.
Yes,
Well-
that sounds wonderful.
Well, you know what? Sounds like we need to have them at the next meeting. So this has been a great discussion, and I will reach out to their offices and see if I can get them to present next month.
Well, I'm glad I came to this meeting because I usually go to the Sandtown meeting, our community meeting, our the HOA meeting,
Mhm.
but I've never been to one of these meetings, and I'm glad I came. And it's one more thing I wanted to ask about, and that's a hospital. Is there any?
That's a very heavy lift. And the unfortunate reality about a hospital is that you have to have a certificate of need from the State Department of Health that establishes that there is a need. And we know there is one, but the reality of it is the people that vote on whether or not that certificate is issued are other hospitals. So basically, you're looking for people, and as a newbie, you would be looking for people that you're competing with to approve you coming on board. The other sad reality is it's very expensive to develop a new hospital. It's $1 billion investment is what I've been told by subject matter experts. So it's unfortunate that we lost Wellstar as a full-fledged hospital.
Yes.
We lost a hospital that we had years ago on Fairburn Road.
Yeah.
That I had to visit. It's a very difficult and complicated process that requires bipartisan support in the legislature, and the willingness for people to tweak state law that would allow it. But at the end of the day, if Oprah or Tyler Perry said, "I'm ready to spend $1 billion to build a hospital," they could not, because they don't have the permission.
I will
So that
say
wouldn't
this.
come up. That wouldn't come under urban development then.
No.
It wouldn't come out, it's at the state level.
Okay.
I will share this though, it is something that the city is working on, and I can tell you, I've been working on it for a couple of years, but I think we're getting closer. I think instead of talking about the hospital, because that lift is so heavy, we need to talk about, and I've talked to many medical experts, that we need to look at medical campuses. So that might be a facility like a medical park that would have your ability to do imaging and a number of health services that are not a hospital. Because when you think about it, you don't really want to be in a hospital. You want access to the care you need in your backyard or close to your home, right? You want the
HMO maybe?
preventative care.
Well, what I will encourage people, and it's pretty much a secret to a lot of people. Brady's got a comprehensive healthcare center at Princeton Lakes.
Yeah.
I established my primary care physician there, and that facility is awesome. I had the privilege of participating with their board before they built it. And I really encourage people to take a look at what things that you can receive there, because to our councilwoman's point, a lot of the services are there, and you don't even have to go down to Grady, which is
Okay, so that's
basically-
awesome, but our community is not aware of that probably. I mean, I shouldn't say our community isn't aware.
that's-
Most of our communities, some of our communities not aware of that, like I wasn't.
If
And
you have the answer about how to make that happen, I encourage you to call me. My number is 678-390-0097, because for 2 decades, I have attempted through our organization to share a lot of nuggets and great information with folks. And we post on Facebook, we send it out on our distribution list, we put it on the website. And I don't know where the disconnect is. But as an example, when we talk about senior services from Fulton County, we've got one of the best programs in the nation. And it's unbelievable, some of the things that they offer. And I will share with you some of the things that I personally take advantage of. They have a seniors transportation program where you register one time for $15 and you set up your account. And then you pick up the phone and you call Common Courtesy and you say, this is Harvey Davis, this is my number. I would like to be picked up at this time, at this address, and dropped off at this address. And they dispatch Lyft. And Lyft will come out, they'll send you Lyft drivers 5 days a week, 8 to 5, up to 15 rides a month, up to 15 miles, and the ride is $1.
wow.
So I could go to Camp Creek Marketplace round trip for $2 and not need a car. The other thing that they provide is, as we talk about food, is they have a program with an organization that provides meals for services, meals for seniors, and they deliver 7 meals a week that are frozen entrees. They're very delicious. I get a text message to my phone. It says, we're going to arrive between this time and this time. And what they provide with your tax dollars is incredible. Lastly, and this was more involved, they have minor home repair services. And it took a while. There was a waiting list. There was COVID. But at the end of the day, I got Fulton County to replace the gutters on my house for free. $15 worth of work. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of services out there, and our people perish for lack of knowledge. There's a lot of money and things that we get from Fulton County over and above what the city offers. And I encourage people to go to the website and just peruse and learn because it's out there for the asking.
Could you put the website in the chat?
Well, I do.
Harvey?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I put it earlier.
Okay.
Fulton County, it says Fulton County has one of the best seniors programs, blah, 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 blah. And
Gotcha.
their website is fultoncountyga.gov. And once you go to the website, just look for the senior services section. There's all manner of programs that are out there.
Thank you so much. That's great information. Also, I do want to add that I think Fulton County have one of the best art programs there is in this whole state of Georgia. I love the arts. I love the program, the Aviation Center, the Southwest Art Center. I mean, there's just arts everywhere, and I love that.
I will say that the city bought the art center, so that's the city's doing it now.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And we're very proud of it. And if you haven't gone to see some of the recent productions since COVID, they have been absolutely amazing.
Oh, wow. I do. I have to get back into that.
It's one currently on Fannie Lou Hammer that's currently playing at the Southwest Art Center. And I think it ends this weekend. So if you haven't taken advantage, please go see it.
I'll go over there Saturday. Probably have it a matinee. I can go see.
Oh,
Good.
wonderful.
Good.
Wonderful, 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 y'all. Well, it is 70.
Oh, I just want to add something for them. They have something good coming up. No, at the Aviation Center, they have an adult camp coming up, and they're going to have yoga, art, quilting. It's going to be very nice. It's for a week. It's from the 18th through the 22nd of July.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
if you guys you don't have any plans for that time, or if you can make it, just hop on over there. I just love that place.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Councilman Rao, someone said, would you put the link to your newsletter in the chat, please?
Yes, I'm trying to
on.
get the link
Hold
now.
on.
And also Sandtown is represented in District 2 by Councilwoman Conolitha Gums.
Yes.
So I encourage, I subscribe to all of the council members' newsletters, not just my own. And it gives you a good idea of the things that are happening citywide. And also the city has a newsletter. And I would encourage people to go to the city's website and sign up for the newsletters and the events and everything else that's there. Because a lot of the questions that people ask me or I see on social media are right there on the website. I'm going to put the city's website in the chat.
Okay.
And I encourage people, even if you do not bless us and join the volunteers that manage the association as a dues paying member, you can still sign up for our email distribution. And you can find that at sandtown.org on how to subscribe.
Right.
You said join as a volunteer as that's in Sandtown?
No, well, what I'm asking is that my preference would be that people would join as members to help us defray the cost of the website and our other expenses. But what I'm saying is, in the interest of people as a whole, you can subscribe to our distribution without being a member.
Mhm.
And then hopefully after a while, your heart will be touched and you'll help defray our expenses.
Well, y'all, this has been a wonderful discussion, and thank you all, Ms. Young and Ms. Reed and
Thank you.
everybody else that have joined us today. We like to have dialogue with you all and tell you what we know is going on and what the plans are. And I will get on the horn to try to get Fulton County at our August meeting so they can give us an update on what Councilman Rao suggested. And with that,
Oh, I just have one more thing, Mr. Davis. What was that, the name of the health group that you mentioned?
It's Grady's Comprehensive Healthcare Center. It's at
Okay.
Princeton. It's at Princeton Lakes. It's just before you get to the Camp Creek Marketplace. It's an awesome facility.
It's hidden back over there.
Yes.
It's hidden.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
also a new veterans facility at Camp Creek Marketplace. If people don't know, if you're a veteran. And
Oh, yeah?
Yes, because
Thank
I
you.
used to take my dad and I used to go to Cobb County, and now we have one right off of Camp Creek Parkway.
Good.
Well, I am so glad to hear this because I go all the way to Beaufort to the doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
long way.
That's Hall County almost.
Yes,
That's
it
Hall
is. It's
County.
a long way, and I'm
Yeah.
really, thank you so much for that.
Gainesville.
information. Yeah,
Right.
yes, it is. Yes.
Ooh, Forsyth County and all up in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I started because I take my mom too. She lives up
Okay.
that way, so I take
Yeah.
her. But I mean, we don't always go the same time, so
Yeah,
it's kind of difficult to
I
take
know.
that track up there every so often.
Good gracious alive. You almost have to go the night before.
Yeah. Well, listen, sometimes I
Okay.
go spend the night night before my appointment.
I get
Well,
tired just thinking
No,
about
no. That traffic is like a parking lot going up there.
Ooh-wee. And
Yeah.
trying to get on a 9-7, what is it, 9, whatever it is up there.
285. 20. Well, yeah,
85 to
285. 85
985.
goes up. It's almost near South Carolina.
I know.
Well, y'all, this has been a great discussion. And like I said, thanks to everybody that joined us today. And we will send out the information about our meeting in August. And I hope you all will continue to have a wonderful July. And I'm just going to make this announcement because I'm telling everybody, I'm going to be a new grandmama for the first time. My grandbaby, my baby girl is going to be born December the 8th. So I am over the moon and I can't come down because I am just so excited.
Well,
And I
many
got the baby,
blessings.
and look, and the baby bed got delivered today. What can I say?
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Well, I think this meeting, like with these meetings, I'm gonna let you go because I think what happens is that I got a notification about the meeting, but I think what happens is that the meetings, people actually probably think that these meetings, like I did, thought they were only for council members.
Oh, no.
It's community members,
Okay.
The name of
anybody
the
who lives in a
association,
community.
the name of the association is the Sandtown Community Association.
And
Okay.
anybody
it's-
can come.
Anybody can come who,
Okay, that's
anybody
awesome.
can come. So
That's
you're
beautiful.
welcome to come.
Anybody can join.
Anybody can join that lives in Sandtown now.
Mhm.
We try to keep, and it's a whole reason why we do that, but yes, anybody can join.
Thank you.
Thank
Also,
you.
we have a Facebook page, and that's another way we disseminate information through the Facebook page
I think
as well
that's
as our
where-
email distribution.
Yeah, I think that's where I got that information.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
all
you.
right, y'all.
Well, it's been a pleasure. And thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
I look forward to meeting you.
And come again and bring
And come
somebody
again,
else.
bring somebody else.
I
You're
sure will.
absolutely. Well, with that, y'all have a great rest of the week, rest of the month, and we will see you in August.
All right.
Okay.
Have
Be
a good
well,
one. Stay
everybody.
safe,
Be well and
everybody.
safe.
All righty. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.